The Man Whore podcast is sponsored by hotmovies.com. Try out some ethical paid-for porn for free with none of those hidden fees or secret recurring subscriptions when you sign up at hotmovies.com/bonus and use the promo code MANWHORE. The Man Whore podcast is sponsored by SavagePresents.com. With high-quality, body-safe silicone toys, Savage Presents offers classic dildos with an original spin. Get 30% off the Savage Meat or the Savage Gentleman and free shipping when you shop at SavagePresents.com and use promo code MANWHORE. Now let's get to the show.
Welcome to the Man Whore podcast.
Shout out to the white feminists, the second wave feminists, and the cisgender feminists. Hey, if your feminism doesn't include trans people, guess what? You're not a feminist. That's how that works. This is Billy Procida, and you're listening to the Man Whore podcast. Yeah, look, if you're not just shouting from the rooftops about what's going on right now in regards to transgender rights, do you really want to get shown up on feminism by the problematic man whore boy? That's a bad look for both of us. You know, if you're one of the types of people who skips the intro when I get political, this is the time I'm going to tell you, fucking listen. Because I'm pissed, I'm not happy, and it's a thing you need to hear. And if you're not queer, you need to hear this even more, because I'm extra talking to you. I do not understand how people are still supporting this trash in the White House. It is absurd. The attacks on queer people, absurd. Fun fact, everybody, just like how you're not feminist if you don't support trans people, you're also not sex positive if you're not a proponent for queer rights. You're just simply not. I've had one listener who's like, well, I'm sex positive, but only within heterosexual monogamous marriages. And I'm like, no, you're not sex positive. That's not how that word works. If you haven't been following the news recently, the Trump administration has taken another stab at transgender people and queer people, the LGBT community, by attempting to redefine gender. That's what they're trying to do. They are, as Trump said, we're looking into it. We're looking into the transgender thing. This is the step that I'm about to describe is one of many steps in to completely getting rid of all protections for transgender folks in this country, which is about 1.4 million people. It's the rough estimate. It's about 1.4 million people who identify as transgender. I don't know if that includes non-binary, genderqueer. The idea is simply you got a lot of Americans who are going to be affected by this. The first step that they want to do is redefine gender to be what your birth certificate says your gender/sex is at birth based off your genitalia. Now, remember, sex and gender are different things. Cue the genderbread person, okay? If you haven't seen that diagram, Google it. I'm happy to email it to you if you want me to send it to you directly, okay? Sex, gender, different, right? But they are now trying to bind those two concepts together again and make it you are whatever you were born as that the doctor says as your biological sex. That's your gender. That erases trans people because now you can transition, but you can't change it on your passport, on your driver's license, even if you're fully living life as your truer self. So this redefinition gets rid of trans people. And then if trans people don't exist on paper, you don't have to protect them. You don't have to extend civil liberties to these people based on their gender because that's no longer their gender. And then the Christians and the hateful people of the country can do whatever the fuck they want. And it's shitty. And what I'm pissed about is that there's still people supporting this guy. If you listen to my podcast, you still support this president, I need you to email me because I got questions. I need to know. I want to know why. Okay, you don't get to vote Republican and be sex positive. You don't get to vote Republican and be pro-queer anymore right now in this present time. It's not a few people. It's the party, your leaders. They represent you. It's in the word representative. They represent you. You're stuck voting Democratic if you want to be sex positive and pro-queer. I'm going to go a step further. If you don't go vote in this midterm election on November 6th, you're not sex positive and you're not pro-queer because you didn't give a shit enough to go vote. You can vote early. I voted. I went to New Jersey. I got on a fucking bus just to make sure we can keep Bob Menendez in his seat in New Jersey. You can early vote, you can absentee vote, and you can go on November 6th. Make it a happy hour activity. Be like, oh yeah, guys, we're going to go vote and then we're going to get so wasted. I don't care how you do it, but you got to do it because we need you now. It's a big fucking deal. There's higher stakes. There's another time in my life I might be like, oh my God, I just like rock the vote. You know, I don't care who you vote for. I just care like that you vote. Fuck that. Yes, we are stuck with the Democratic Party until the Republicans give us, or another party, I don't give a fuck, comes out and is so blatantly pro-queer and blatantly has a chance to take a seat. You're stuck with the Dems, as imperfect as they are. You're going to take imperfect and you're going to eat it. And if you're white, cis, straight, and you don't give a fuck, or you're just like, yeah, I'm not excited to vote for this guy or woman, your apathy is why queers are being attacked. And hey, if you're enjoying that swinger lifestyle, you know who laid down on the barbed wire so you can have fun, non-monogamy, poly, kinky times? Queer people, trans people. So show up for them because they did a fucking lot for you. I don't like the apathy. And I don't like the hate. November 6th, people, midterms, go vote and vote Democrat until we get another option. And the Republican Party don't look like they're trying to give us one anytime soon. Sadly, I long for the day where I'm trying to choose between a Republican and a Democrat. November 6th, go vote. Vote early. I don't give a fuck. Get there. Oh, man. This week, everybody, we got a great episode. I've got Hillary on. And if you don't remember Hillary, she was on the Naked podcast from last year. I think it's episode like 158. And if you remember, we also had some times together after the recording. I think that episode ends with her going, okay, start jerking off. Well, it progressed past that. But Hillary came back and she has gone through some things. She's gone through some shit. And this is a real and raw and beautiful episode, I think. I'm really excited to share it with you. There is a lot of talk about depression and suicide. And I do want to remind all my listeners that, you know, if you're ever thinking about harming yourself, please call the suicide prevention hotline or go to suicidepreventionlifeline.org. I will have a link to both the phone number and the URL in the show notes. Every time you didn't was a choice. And every time you didn't, when you could have, that was a win. And I'm proud of you. And now I'm going to very, very clunkily transition into show dates, people. Show dates. Hi. Oh, man, that hurt for me, too. But we got to get there. We got to force our way into it. What's up, everyone? Okay, so remember, Los Angeles, November 4th, we are doing a Man Whore Podcast live show. Yeah, I'm going to be on stage with 3 of my exes, 2 of whom you might recognize their voices. The show is in Hollywood. There is free parking, and you can get your tickets at manwhorepod.com/tickets. Go get your ticket now. Get that out of the way so you don't even have to think about it. Then you can commit more time to recruiting your friends to come with you. Again, November 4th, LA, manwhorepod.com/tickets. Am I doing any stand-up comedy while I'm on the West Coast? Actually, yes, I am. I've booked like about a half dozen or so gigs. So I'm going to be doing the yucks, doing the jokes while I'm out there. But the only way you're going to know where I am performing ahead of time is if you sign up for my mailing list. Yes, when I touch down in LA, I will be sending out an email to all of my LA fan whores, letting you know where I'll be doing jokes. A little bit of an exclusive perk for being on the mailing list. Otherwise, you're just going to have to really, get obsessed with my Twitter and my Instagram. To get on the mailing list, you just go to manwhorepod.com. All right, everyone. I sometimes read the iTunes reviews. I recently got a 1-star rating on iTunes. Made me a little bit sad face. But I was so thrilled because I also got a couple great 5-star ratings and reviews. Did you know you could do ratings and or reviews? Apple Podcasts, Stitcher. I think you could do thumbs up on Spotify. Wherever you listen to podcasts, I'd appreciate if you leave some sort of positive acknowledgement. Helps other people find the show. This review is kind of nice. I like the title. It's titled The Podcast God. Comes from Marissa Joe 44. She writes, Billy is honestly my favorite. His podcasts are always so interesting and riveting along with sensual and heartfelt. I have tried listening to other podcasts about sex and I was completely turned off by either the voices of those presenting the show or simply because they weren't funny. I highly recommend this podcast to anyone who is looking for a good laugh or cry or simply just wants some sexual enlightenment. Well, thank you, Marissa, for those 5 stars in that review. This episode is definitely one where you're going to have a good laugh and a good cry, I think. This other 5-star rating and review comes from Uber Heist. His review just says, or their review, I don't fucking know, is what the title says. And the title of the review says, awesome, fun, informative, and sexy as fuck. Well, Uber's Heist and Marissa Joe 44, thank you for the man-whore love. Much appreciated. Now it's time for your emails, everybody. Your emails. One of my favorite things, probably top 5 favorite thing I can wake up to is an email from my listeners. Emails from my listeners are awesome. I otherwise love waking up to money in my inbox, money under my door, sex, or more sex. Those are the things I like waking up to, other than your email. So emails are the top 5 for sure. This one comes from Claudia. Okay, Claudia is writing to me about the LA meetup because we are doing a fan whore meetup in Los Angeles. I'm going to email my LA fan whores on the mailing list very soon to confirm a date, time, and location. I will probably post about it on my social media, but again, the best way is to email me and tell me that you're down, and I'll let you know when we're doing it. So Claudia writes, hey, Billy, I just bought a ticket to your show in LA, and I would love to continue the fun and meet you and some other fan whores. I just moved here about a month ago, so I'd be super excited to meet some like-minded, sex-positive people. And who knows, maybe get laid too? I would love to be a part of it. Hey, Claudia, getting laid's great. I would like to get laid while I'm in Los Angeles as well. So what a coincidence. So, if that is an incentive enough people to come on out to the fan whore meetup or the live show, you got who I looked up, very hot lady who's just looking to get laid and meet some friends. So thank you for your email, Claudia. I can't wait to meet you. This next one, a little bit longer, comes from Josie L. Subject line, dating BBF. I don't know what BBF is, and I'm almost scared to search. She writes, thank you for putting out your podcast. I'm still backlogged in last year. Started listening this summer and binging while I work. I love the fun and informative way you talk about life and sex. Now, on to my story and question. I had been dating a guy for 11 years, since I was 19. But we never moved in together or really saw each other more than twice a week unless vacationing. We had a sub-dom dynamic as well as a somewhat open relationship, but not much communication at all. He is 16 years older and recently went on a through hike for 5.5 months. Dear God. And while he was away, we talked about moving in and getting a house, but when he returned, nothing changed. And I ended the relationship pretty quickly on him. While in the summer, my best guy friend of 10 years and I hung out a lot, and I was feeling cuddly towards him. Ooh, cuddles, yeah. We ended up hooking up right before my dom came home, and it was so good and sweet. I learned subsequently that he had always had a crush on me, but never made it known. We started basically dating the day after the breakup, and I've never been happier and wanting to be with him more. I never had the normal dating experience, and I'm deeply grateful that I get to talk and be with my best guy friend too. The question is, am I moving too quick? We have only been able to see each other for a few hours on my off days because he's on turnaround duty, but damn, in those times it's both hot and sweet. We know each other more than I ever knew my dom, and I've already said I love yous. I just don't want to get crazy on him, even though anytime I check in, he's right there with me. I do feel like I already had gone through the breakup for 6 months before just keeping a flame of hope before blowing it out. But I don't want to find out I'm using my friend in any way. We are communicating really well since he knows all the stuff about me anyway. There's nothing to hide, but I just thought I would ask a professional man whore. Joe. Well, again, not a professional man whore. Not yet. If any ladies want to hire me, let's talk. Hey. But this is one of those emails where I'm really not sure what the problem is. Joe, you and your boyfriend, your older boyfriend and Dom broke up. And while he was away, let me get this right, you hooked up with your best guy friend while still in an open relationship. Kosher. Things are still good and hot and fun with the new guy. Great. And you don't appear to be hurting over the ex. Fantastic. So are you moving too fast? Only you know. I don't think there's like a standard or a metric by which to measure these things. We often worry so much if something is normal or weird. And I'm like, yeah, it might be to somebody. It might be weird to someone. Someone thinks being non-monogamous is weird too. Who fucking cares? What's more important is, does it feel too fast for you? You appear to be fine with things. I'm not really sure what you mean by using your friend because, you're also in love with the guy. You said I love you, so you're already crazy for him. It would be considerate of you to wonder if he had feelings for you, but you just wanted to fuck and you're concerned about using his dick. That would be considerate. But this isn't the case. You two are dating. Just enjoy it, And don't look for another reason for it to maybe not work out. All right. Life is already going to throw plenty of reasons at you. Also, Joe included some tasteful, really hot nudes. So thank you for those, honey. You're super hot. Dig your bod. We would love to see some more of you in the Peep Show. I think I'll speak on behalf of all of us. Okay, last email before we move on. Comes from what I'm sure is a fake name, Buckshot LaFonk. He's a member of the Fan Whore Fantasy Football League, which I'm currently in first place of. No big deal, everyone. Hi, how you doing? But I just got this email and said, hey, random request. Me and my lady friend are approaching our 1-year anniversary on October 20th. We both now love the pod. Hey, do you love the pod that you're still listening, or do you skip the intros? Ooh, we're going to find out. If you could do a shout out, it would be amazing. If you could say the following, I would be forever in your debt. And if not, we'll still be loyal listeners. You're the best. Now, if you're going to be forever in my debt, hey, just go ahead and, become a member on Patreon. We'll call it square. But to Samantha from Tom, happy 1-year anniversary. I never could have imagined after you blew me that night in the purple pub that we'd be in love 1 year later. Well, isn't that fucking adorable? If you want to send me your comments, your questions, your boobies, whatever, send it on over to manwhorepod@gmail.com. And again, if you want to come hang out with me in Los Angeles, shoot me an email. Let me know that you want details on the Fan Whore meetup. And I do hope that I will see you at the live show November 4th, free parking. I gotta do that tonight. I'm recording this on Tuesday night, so I'm kind of under the wire. But the porn, everybody. We watching it? I'm watching it. Are you watching it? Don't lie, you watch it. But are you paying for it? Just a little bit. Just a little nugget here and there to keep the industry going. Well, I would love if you would use some of your pay for your porn energy over at hotmovies.com. Because hotmovies.com puts a little bit their nugget of money energy towards the Man Whore podcast. So, we like that. So I'm doing a podcast tomorrow night called Two Girls, One Mic. These two chicks, we all watch a porn parody of the guest's favorite movie. There is no Chasing Amy porn parody, so we went with one of my other top fives, Clerks. The Clerks XXX porn parody. which is a real thing. I'm about a half hour in so far, and it's fucking hilarious. And I'm watching it at hotmovies.com. Amazing stuff. I've never seen so much dialogue and so much good dialogue in a porn before. Like, it's genuinely funny. Like, part of me thinks, did they fucking call Kevin? Did they call Kevin Smith and be like, yo, you covert, write the script for our Clerks porn parody? Because I feel like he would do it. So I'm having a lot of fun watching that here. And Hot Movies, if you don't know, is a pay-per-minute porn site. You know, you buy a bunch of minutes, and then as you watch the porn, it just depletes the minutes from your account. So if you only get 3 minutes in on a quickie jerk-off, hey, cool. Now you still have, it only took 3 minutes off instead of 60 minutes for the whole movie. And Hot Movies is going to give you 20 free minutes when you sign up using my promo code MANWHORE. And of course, when you're watching these movies, you know, as the minutes get chewed up from your account, they have a whole algorithm thing that trickles down money to those studios that can pay these performers proper amounts to do this stuff so we can, you know, come to it. Anyways, head on over to hotmovies.com/bonus. Use promo code MANWHORE for 20 free minutes. All right, before we get to Hillary, we're going to do the fan whore appreciation moment. What's up? This is the part of the podcast where I like to thank some of the members of my fan whore community on Patreon. These are the people who help keep the podcast plugging along, keeping a roof over my head and the Wi-Fi strong. Right now, I want to give a big thank you to Logan. Looking good, homie. And don't worry, I got your back, okay? November 6th, I got you. Tim Moore. I'm assuming you're not the famous vaudeville comedian Tim Moore because he's dead. So whoever you are, thank you very much for your support, and I respect your membership. And a shout out to Marius P., the slender Canadian who I think he's got zero body hair and zero body fat, and I'm just, you know, jelly, dude. Good job. Welcome back to the champagne room, buddy. And you too can become a member and support this podcast for as little as $1 per month. All you got to do is go to patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. That's Patreon, patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. And now for this week's guest, Hillary. I already told you a good chunk of what went down earlier in this intro, which seems like ages ago. Am I right? Billy, shut up. Get to the show. Fine. Anyways, I revisit my time with Hillary after our little naked podcast fuck session rendezvous about 1.5 years ago. And apparently that was where everything took a downturn. So, you know, take caution before you sleep with me. I really do appreciate Hillary's openness and honesty and willingness to share what was very clearly a difficult time of her life. But I am also very glad that she has overcome that and found the other side. I hope that gives some of y'all who may be struggling with depression yourselves some hope. Let's go to my conversation with Hillary. For this one,
I finally have something to absorb my sweat.
Yeah.
That was the worst part about last time was the beads of sweat just there.
So you're going to want to keep this closer. Yeah, right up on that.
Do you disinfect these?
Huh?
Do you disinfect these ever?
Well, no one's like deep throating. No one's like putting them in their mouth.
Very close.
Well, yeah, you gotta pick up the sound.
No, the sponge could absorb so much.
Would you like to take the mic condom off?
No.
Okay. Now I'm self-conscious. Like, oh, am I supposed to disinfect these?
I don't know. It just
Do Keith
seems
and
like
the girl
a very
disinfect them? I don't know.
You brush your teeth, you know, like this is a spitting distance.
Hey, that's a fair point. I would say then just don't have it, like, don't rub your face with it.
Don't use it as a beauty blender.
Yeah. If you're starting to feel a little bit sweat, I can get you like a towel instead of using the thing.
Yeah, it is always warm. I guess fans, you can't use fans while you record.
Yeah. Wait, so the naked episode, you didn't like the sweatiness aspect of it all?
Yeah, because you're not wearing anything to absorb the sweat, you know, and then it becomes more apparent. It almost starts to itch. You just like are very mindful of this one bead of sweat that you have, and it's just.
So can anyone else, like, does he see the bead of sweat going down my tits right now? But yeah, the naked episodes are actually like a surprisingly popular set of episodes.
Mm-hmm.
which I never understand why. They're all like, oh, you should do more naked shows. I'm like, you can't see us.
Yeah, but it's just knowing. And also, you know, maybe it's just because it's not all about you. It's more about the stranger this time than about the stranger's relation to Billy.
I mean, that's the thing. I think. Well, I like that it's not about me, but also it's like you can't see that stranger. So it's like, isn't that part of the? I don't understand why they're like, you should do more naked shows. They're like, no, you should just get more girls from Tinder, dude. Like,
yeah, basically.
Okay, but I'm happy to have Hillary back here on the show.
Yeah,
welcome back.
I am happy to be here.
Are you?
No, I'm not actually. I am neutral at most.
I will take neutral.
Yeah, I'm neutral about being here.
I can work with neutral. Yeah, it's been a bit of there's been a lot of talks about having you back.
Yeah, I put it off for a long time.
Yeah.
It's kind of going through some stuff.
It's
not really entertaining or interesting or novel at all.
Well, you can let everyone else be the judge of that.
Well, it's just not. I don't know. I feel like it's all been said before. That was what made me like not want to come on or not. I don't know. I feel like no one would think it was very interesting.
Well, what were you going through?
Like, I think it was last spring. I kind of reevaluated my life and was thinking, you know, I had been on antidepressants since I was 15. And I was like a completely different person, you know, like living in New York, following my dreams, like feeling pretty happy. And I was like, why don't I try to live without them? And as you can tell, it's really hard to talk about. But I weaned off it. It was a hard summer, but I got off them and thought I was doing okay. But before I knew it, I just really wasn't okay. And I don't know, like I was just in this really deep hole, and the mistake I made was not having counseling the whole time while I got off my antidepressants. And I was like really far gone by the time I was getting help. And yeah, I was just, you know, this whole year is just me being extremely depressed and wanting to kill myself. And it's just not fun. It's not a fun thing to talk about.
Well, I'm glad you didn't do that. Hard to rebook you if you do that. It's very difficult.
I know. That's what kept me going.
Yeah, well, thank God.
Come back on this podcast.
Thank God. You're just like, oh, that thing I fucking did.
Yeah.
Last year.
That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
I'm sweaty and I have tears on me.
We're
double moist.
Every time you come on, just more different liquids, more juices going on. When I reached out to you, you seemed like you were a bit like in the midst of it. You seemed like you were kind of in there.
Definitely like contemplating suicide every day. Went through a bunch of phases of getting help. You know, I was seeing a counselor once a week, and then I did this program where I saw a counselor every day. It was like an outpatient therapy, like what you do when you're not quite ready to go to the hospital, but like you need to be talking to someone every day. Mm-hmm. And I did it. It's called DBT program, dialectical behavioral therapy. Has all these 4 tenets. It's kind of like about mindfulness and a little bit like Buddhism and also therapy. And it was helpful, but also my medication while I was in that therapy was working. And I started having some really bad side effects from it and had to stop taking it. So it's like the medication stopped working, the therapy stopped working, and the little bit of progress I had made during that time went away.
Feels like you got to start back at zero.
Yeah, like so much experimenting with medications. I tried to go back on the medications that I was on before when I was feeling so great that like I thought I didn't need them anymore, and then they don't work anymore. That's like some flip switched and they don't work anymore. What
made you want to get off? Like what was that thought process in your head to get off the antidepressants in the first place?
I feel like I hear other people do it sometimes. They're just like, I needed them for this point in my life, and then things were better, and I had this cathartic moment. I threw it in the ocean or something, and I just didn't need it. And some people, I think depression is like that for them, where it's a period of their life where things are hard and they need some help. But then there's some other people who just, their brain isn't right, or there's something missing. That, you know, like the little piece missing that makes you want to like just get up and live. I don't really have that naturally. Yeah. So a lot of like messing with medications, and that is terrible. Like really hard on the body and on your mind, and just like
it's a mind. Like forget the body parts of it. It's like it's a mind fuck.
Yeah. Like things would work and then they wouldn't, or they were supposed to be working and they weren't, and they're trying to convince myself I'm feeling better and I'm not. Yeah, just side effects were really painful. There was the medication that was working was also slowly making me like super lightheaded all the time, where I would be on the train afraid of making a scene, like collapsing, and that's how I felt for a few months. And I didn't realize it was that medication, because there was also, you know, birth control that I had changed and other medications, and yeah, just it was really, really hard.
And and this is from the most recent spring or the spring before?
Spring before that.
Okay, so I'm sorry. Before we were ceremoniously interrupted by the buzzer, I was going to allude to, so like after fucking me, then all of a sudden things were breaking
basically
down.
that was my rock bottom.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, no, it actually was because I was feeling good. I mean, I remember listening to the podcast and liking it, and I didn't hate the sound of my own voice, and that was kind of one thing where it's like, wow, I've grown up so much, I'm matured, I'm really, you know, self confident, and, you know, working towards my goals, and it all kind of, that feeling so good, and deciding to take this action of getting all my medications set me back so far. Like my self-confidence is shot now. I was so unproductive for this past like year and a half. Now that I'm feeling better, I'm super productive, especially like relatively, but even not, like I've been creating a lot of stuff and figuring out what I want to do, which I guess is good in the long run. That it eventually did push me towards what I want to do, but it wasn't a fun process.
Not fun, not easy, long, hard, but worth it. Especially when pursuing dreams as a fellow creative. It's, you know, it's the only thing we want to do. We don't want to do any of the shit we have to do to get there.
Yeah.
Whether it be like jobs or doing shit for free or making bad stuff to be able to make good stuff. And if you're adding mental illness on top of all of it, I mean, I just can't imagine. I think it's hard. All I've got is like a dumb little eating disorder. I can't imagine what that's got to be like on your creativity or even dating life. Like, are you dating during that last year and a half? Like, yeah,
that's another weird like wrench to throw into it, is that I actually fell in love, like for the first time ever.
Love its own mental illness.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. And it was a hard thing to process. So it was kind of like 2 springs ago is when I got off the meds, and then last Halloween is when I met him. And so it's kind of like I had came off and like was falling down pretty low and kind of felt like I had nothing to live for. And then I met this guy who it's not that he was my perfect match or anything, but I did fall in love with him. Like I just saw him and immediately and everything clicked. And I never felt this way. Like I felt high whenever I was with him and whenever I thought about him. But when I wasn't with him, I was pretty low. So I just kind of stuck with, you know, making plans to see him and enjoying our time together, but definitely wasn't productive and wasn't fulfilling myself in any other way other than being with him.
Kind of like attaching yourself to him.
Yeah. But he wasn't a very motivated person, so it was easy to feel like I had nothing pushing me and I was going nowhere. And but I started getting help when I was with him. And as I got better, I started to see, you know, I wasn't supposed to be with him, and I wasn't.
That new relationship energy is like a drug.
Yeah.
It's our brain chemistry changes when we have something new and shiny like that. And then all you want to do is play with that new toy or spend all the time with that person. Or in some cases, you know, almost like latch on the sense of self to them.
Yeah. It was kind of shitty though, because once I got feeling better, I broke up with him like a month after that.
No, that's what you got to do. What's shitty about that? That was the right thing.
I know, but it just sucks, you know, like I'm finally wanting to go out and do stuff and not with him. And he, you know, when we were together, I'd be like, oh, we never do anything, but it's mostly because of me. Mostly because I don't want to leave the house. I just don't want to get out of bed. And now I'm feeling better and doing stuff not with him. It's like I wish I could have been a better person when we were together like I am now.
When did you break up with him?
Like a month ago.
Do you do you still think that you were actually in love with him, or do you think that where you were in life had a part to play in that?
Probably a little bit of both. Like, I definitely felt as a way I've never felt before. Like, I'm not the kind of person to even believe in that until now, because I didn't think it could happen. Like, being so into someone and feeling just, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but
try to.
No. It's lame. I'm not a mushy
Be a little
person.
lame. I know.
No, I'm not mushy.
They can't see your haircut, but we know you're not mushy.
Oh,
but
yeah. It's actually really long right now. It's almost
well compared
hair.
to what it was, a year and a half ago. I remember seeing the first time I saw you on the train, because like we were on the same train line, and I saw you with like the shaved cut, and I was like, "What's going on with Hillary?"
Yeah, I was like that for about a year. Yeah, that was before I met him, and I was like, I'm gonna try to swear off guys. No one's gonna want to date me if I don't have any hair. And then I met, this guy.
So you wanted to swear off guys by shaving your head, but you identify as straight. So
swear off just dating.
Dating, yeah.
Anyone.
And it was like, well, the haircut, the shaving will help.
Yeah.
Ease that process.
Make it harder. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I defy you to want to fuck me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if anyone really wanted to fuck me, it means they're good. They're deep enough, Actually, the night I met this guy,
or they have a cancer fetish, either.
That's true. I was dressed as Jean-Luc Picard from Star Trek for Halloween.
Whoever that is, sure.
He has a bald head, Patrick Stewart.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I know who he is.
Yeah, in the Star Trek uniform with the shaved head. I know. It was good.
Was that also something did you do that after you got off the meds?
Yeah. And it was like my cathartic thing. And that was before I realized that I was on this downward spiral, and I was like, I'm reborn. And now I realize, like, no, I was falling apart. Like,
those are two very different movie scenes. There's the like, you're reborn shaving scene, and then there's the one where Natalie Portman's crying in V for Vendetta. It's like, no, things are going to get bad.
Yeah. It got pretty bad. Yeah. But so the turning point, I guess, was this summer. I had to quit my job and move back to Texas and live with my parents and go to the hospital. And
whose decision was that?
Mine, because I really didn't have any other options. Like, I really didn't know what to do. I just wanted to kill myself. Like, that's it. Like, that's all I wanted to do. I know I shouldn't, and I have people that care about me, but like, I felt that why should I put what these other people want ahead of what I want, and what I want is to not be in pain anymore. But so I quit my job. It was cool because he's like, oh, you'll still have your job when you come back, which was nice to not be stressed. To think, like, if I do make it out of this, like, I won't have to be worried when I move back.
And at that point, for you, it's an if.
Yeah. Because before I went to the hospital, like, my parents were like, we have a house in Michigan, and we're going to go and just, like, have some family time and have, no real responsibilities, just hang out, do whatever we want, get a massage, to play with dogs. And even in that, like, very low stakes, nothing to do, no pressure, I still wanted to kill myself. And, I planned to hang myself one night, and I don't know why I didn't do it, but I didn't. But like, so after that time I went to the hospital, and it was a very strange experience, but they sorted out my meds, and now I'm kind of better. I mean, obviously not fully, because I can't talk about it without crying, but
I think that's a sign of progress. One, just physically being here, and then being able to talk about it, and then being able to talk about it to like thousands of people.
Yeah.
Not to like, make any sort of reality of like what you're doing.
No, you have that many fans. I never looked into it.
But no, you can't. That's hilarious. But no, I think that's a sign of strength to be able to share the story and to be able to talk about it at all, let alone to like whomever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what kept you going? Like, because it clearly was something you say you were constantly wanting to do. You didn't do it. Every time you didn't do it, everyone knows, just a comedian with a fuck show. I'm a fucking moron, whatever I say. So sorry, I think. But it's like, I feel like, in my opinion, every time you don't kill yourself and you want to, that's a choice you made. just in the same way when people do go through with that, that was a choice that they made. Like you made a great choice a shit ton of times. It sounds like. Doesn't sound like you just thought about it once or twice. Sounds like it was a lot, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of times you made a great decision. What kept you going through that, or what made you make those choices?
I guess wanting to make things like is kind of what I think I'm here to do. I like just creating. I like to paint a lot, and that's what I've been doing now that I've been better. Just having ideas and knowing that I have skills that are useful and that might improve someone else's life or affect someone else. Like, I'm not one of those stereotypical artists that like gets depressed and wants to makes things out of their depression and anger. I make stuff when I'm happy.
Okay.
And I also don't, I'm not like my paintings are for me. And if someone else happens to like it, then, that's whatever. Like I like to make stuff for other people. And just knowing that I have an ability that might be useful and I might be able to like make something and leave something behind when I do eventually die of, old age, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, I guess that's the only thing.
The concept of legacy.
Yeah.
Or leaving some sort of print on this fucking rock as it spins around.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I get every time I watch Hamilton or listen through to Hamilton. I like how I said every time I watch Hamilton. Like I go to Hamilton all the time. Look at me. Anyways, but have you listened to Hamilton?
No.
There's a lot of, one of the major themes is legacy and how history will see you and what you leave behind. And again, as a person who also makes a thing and wants to do, and not that there's anything wrong with going to an office every day, you make your imprint somewhere else, but with my work, I want to leave an impression. I had a woman at my live show. I think that was the first one. I think that was one of the more recent ones I'd asked you to do. It was like the live show I did. A woman came up to my dad and told him that like the show that I saved her marriage or something. And that's like a powerful thing to like hear. But the idea of like what we leave behind. And I think that's a huge motivator, especially when we feel like we have the self-worth and ability to leave something behind. I think a lot of people think, oh, I can't leave. What am I going to, who's going to remember me? Like, what do I even do that's worth remembering? And there's some part of you through all of this, no matter where your self-confidence was, there's clearly a part of you that thought, I have something to leave here. And I haven't left it here yet.
Yeah. It's pretty accurate.
I think that's great.
Well, especially because I've never wanted kids. And like this.
Oh, thanks for not like overpopulating the earth.
Yeah, I know. Well, also it's like, because I don't want my kid to maybe have depression. I don't want my kid to ever go through what I've gone through.
Is that something that's played a role in your decision making?
Yeah, definitely. Because it's all in my family, like my mom's side, my dad's side. I just plus Asian babies are really cute. Well, I'd rather have an Asian baby, a black baby.
So you would adopt a baby?
Yeah, if I'm ever like financially stable enough. But if I'm not, I shouldn't be popping out my own kid. You know, like it doesn't make it cheaper to have someone else's.
That's the weird thing on dates. Like when people like ask, I assume people ask you on dates, like in the first several dates with someone, right? Like someone goes like, "Oh, do you want kids? Do you ever want to get married?" You get asked that?
No, but I tend to date. I don't know. Guys who wouldn't ask that.
Okay. Dudes who are afraid to ask it because they're afraid of the answer based off of income.
Yeah.
Because like I'll get asked like, oh, do you ever want kids? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe. I'm focused on trying to figure out how to take care of myself.
Oh, yeah. I know. I barely feel stable.
Yeah. How can I support me and a family, let alone, unless there's a sugar mama involved, then like, hey, let's talk.
Yeah.
My semen's for sale.
Yeah. Well, we just adopted a dog and I feel like that's a financial thing. Like, it was baby step.
Yeah.
But I'm just ready to adopt another dog now. Like, not kids.
Slow down.
No.
Slow down,
never. We said once I get a better paying part-time job, because right now I'm part-time at my job and part-time painting. And once I get a little more money, we're going to do a second dog.
Okay. Yeah. No, I meant like, yeah, that's a better way to go about it.
Yeah.
We like brands that like me, don't we? Yeah. Well, Savage Presents is an interesting sex toy shop where they got their very own innovated toys. And I gotta tell you, into it. Their toys are made from premium body safe silicone medical grade. Okay, this is premier stuff. And right now they're currently rocking 2 models that they came up with all on their own. One is called the Savage Gentleman. It's sleek, it's sexy, it's got some fun ridges. It's going to get your job done. But you know what stands out to me is this product they have called the Savage Meat. Is a very realistic looking dildo with a ball sack that looks almost disturbingly realistic. And what's crazy about this thing is it I don't know how to describe it, but it moves. It's like a ghost dick. The Savage Me has 2 purposes. It can get you off by hitting really any letter spot you have, and you can also just put it on your fucking front porch and scare kids at Halloween with it. I love this thing. You got to go to savagepresents.com and just see it moving around to understand what I'm trying to poorly describe. But these are dildos, they're vibrators, and they move in all different ways inside of you. They hit the G spot, they hit the P spot for the prostate owners. They hit the A spot, which is apparently a thing. They're hitting whatever Z spots. I don't even know if that's real, but I bet you some blogger is going to say it is. And Savage Presents is offering you one hell of a deal. Yes, these are high-grade sex toys, and they're giving you a high-grade discount. When you go to savagepresents.com, you can get 30% off and free shipping everywhere in the world. What's up, Canada? What's up, Ireland? What's up, London? What's up, Australia? I see the downloads inside you. Get this thing while you still got free shipping. All you got to do is go to savagepresents.com, use promo code MANWHORE. And when I can't stress this enough, this ghost dick toy, the Savage Meat, it moves 360-degree rotation. Wherever you like being touched inside yourself, this thing can hit it. Again, go to savagepresents.com, use promo code MANWHORE for 30% off and free shipping. Now let's get back to the show. But that was an active, that was part of your decision making of not wanting to birth your own, is the depression?
Oh yeah, definitely.
How long has that been a decision in your head?
Pretty much since, I decided I didn't want kids once I realized I didn't have to have them. Because when I was younger, I thought women just have babies. That's what
your
you have to
purpose.
do. Yeah. So I thought, 4 or 5, because I only had one sibling. I thought it'd be cool to have more, have a big old family. But then I'm wait, I don't have to. None, please. Just 0.
When did you find out that you didn't have to? When did you find out that as a woman you can have your own bodily autonomy?
Maybe 14.
Okay.
No, maybe 12.
That's pretty young.
I don't know.
Especially where you grew up, that's pretty young.
Yeah. And then I started saying I wanted to adopt kids if I ever wanted them.
And then what were they all like? What are you, gay?
No, I don't know. I'm trying to think of when the depression played into it. Probably, around, because 15 is when I started getting treated. So that's when I realized.
So you've known you were depressed for a long time.
Yeah, and I feel it might have been longer too. I just was so young that my parents weren't looking for it. You don't look for your kid to be defective, and I wasn't saying anything. But I feel there was some times when, my parents did know I was kind of sassy. I was kind of a little brat as a kid, but I really think that sometimes
you sassy is hard to imagine.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm always pretty mellow on here, but
mellow and throwing back lines like you said before about me not having fans. those fit you. You being sassy, flipping your hair and snapping your fingers.
I don't have any hair, so I can't do that. But no, I can be pretty sassy. But I think some of the times when I was being a brat, I was really unhappy, and showing it in a different way and not knowing how to vocalize what I was feeling. Because I think it's a very familiar feeling that I don't ever remember not feeling this way. Yeah.
How you feeling right now? We'll check in.
Weepy.
Okay.
My eyes are wet. I feel I'm at therapy. This is how I get when I talk in therapy.
Does your therapist also make you talk into a microphone?
No.
And also does your therapist also sit there thinking when is it appropriate to remind her to move the mic closer?
Yeah. Well, my therapist actually broke up with me.
What?
Yes. So
they
sad.
Can do that?
Yes. It was awful.
I've heard of the you're good, you don't need to come back because you're doing great. But hey, I don't think that this was I don't think we're a fit.
She said, "It's not you, it's me." So this is
Oh, did she really?
basically,
That's hilarious.
She, it was the woman I was seeing before I went home to Texas this summer. So basically, the whole time she saw me, since last December till June, I was getting just increasingly more depressed and just so like you can't even get any work done in therapy because all I'm doing is talking about how I want to kill myself and I hate myself and I don't think things are ever going to get better. And then I come back from Texas and I'm so excited to see her and tell her, I broke up with my boyfriend who I've been kind of thinking about it for a while and I'm feeling so much better and I'm finally hopeful and I'm creating stuff again. And then I emailed her and she's like, I don't think it'd be beneficial, or I think it would be a disservice to you to continue seeing me because I don't have the skills you need. You need someone who's more apt to deal with,
depression?
Severe depression.
Isn't depression like one of the main things they're trained to deal with?
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe she's more like marriage counseling and life counseling, not like severe depression counseling. Okay. And like there's many different therapies for depression and she doesn't know them very well. So I just started seeing someone, 3 weeks ago and I'm not opening up with her very much because I know it's like so illogical. It's like, just open up. It's her job. And
it's like going out on that date that you don't want to go out with after a big breakup. Or you're like, I guess I'll go out with him. I got to get back into the world. But you're on the date being like, I don't want to be here. I want to be back with James.
I know. Like, I could talk about this right now, but you wouldn't understand what I was saying. You don't have the context. You don't remember all these other things. So
we don't have those inside jokes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I get to see her tomorrow.
Okay. How do you feel about how did you end up doing the breakup with the boyfriend or the ex?
Oh, extra shitty. I did it over the phone while I was in Texas.
You know what? Phone's not a bad breakup in 2018.
Yeah. But I was coming back to New York in a week and I couldn't wait a week to do it.
Texting is the new phone breakup.
Okay, and phone is acceptable.
Phone is now the new, like, look, how are we going to make this happen? Schedules. Come on. You don't want to delay a breakup for 2 weeks just because you can't make plans.
Yeah.
No, I think phones are an acceptable breakup format. I think email is harsh because email means like someone sat down and so didn't want to be with you that they were going to do homework. They were going to type up a paper. A text is like I still think is not fun when it's like a serious relationship. And you were with this guy for like 6 months or so?
10 months.
10 months, yeah. So how do you take it?
He was pretty hurt. He was mad because he said, the pills changed me. And I didn't like that because I also had people tell me when I went off my pills that changed me. I was a
we know that
person.
changed you.
Yeah, it changed me a lot.
See, that's just selfish though, because if you're getting better with the pills, and the pills may or may not have had to do with the breaking up, right? Like, yeah,
it was more like ideological differences that I just couldn't live with. And like,
well, you're a Trekkie, he's a Star Wars guy. What kind?
No, we're both Trekkies, but just little things, and like the fact he's not motivated. Like, I want to be with someone who's driven,
who's doing things.
Yeah, and has some sort of passion. And like, he was just older and kind of apathetic, and didn't care so much about his health. And I was like, why would I want to be with you? Like, I barely want to live, and like, you're not. I don't know.
Yeah, you're not helping that dude.
Yeah, you're not.
You're not showing me what life has to offer. You're showing me like what what happens in life when you settle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
he didn't like it. He was a little bit of a selfish D-bag, it sounds like.
No, he made a lot of good points when I came up with reasons, like the things we had different, or differences we had, and he wasn't that bad. It was hard to kind of understand him because he's English isn't his native language, and so he was getting emotional, obviously. So he was kind of like 70% of the conversation I couldn't understand. And that's what made me feel bad, is that I missed some stuff and I would have been better in person. But like, I really didn't want to wait a week and then have because I wasn't moving back here permanently yet. I was just visiting, and I didn't want to waste that whole trip, being
sad.
Yeah.
You want to be sad where you had a nice support network.
Yeah. And my dog and my other dog.
I just think it's shitty to say like the pills change you and try to like blame the breakup on pills, because like you need those.
Yeah.
And
Obviously.
if he actually cares about you, he's got to recognize like, hey, that she needs that, so I can't even bring that up. Yeah. That's just a no-fly zone, in my opinion.
Yeah, because I mean, he saw me when they weren't working, when I wasn't on them, and then when they weren't working, like I didn't want to do anything. I didn't had no drive, but like
I mean,
he
what
kind of
was
enjoyed that because I just want to sit around with him. But like,
Yeah, he's like, cool. Like, was he a weed smoker?
yeah,
So it's like, oh, cool. Like, I can get stoned, just lay around, and she'll be depressed and lay around. We can just lay around together.
yeah.
What was like a day like for you in like the deeper parts of your depression?
A whole lot of nothing. Like I would.
Like if we had like
I didn't
a
have
camera
work,
following you.
If I didn't have work, I would be in bed most of the day. I mean, I would sleep all day. Well, that's another thing is I might have narcolepsy, and that's a whole other thing. But
Did you tell me that last time?
No.
No.
I might have said I like to sleep a lot, but that's before I went to a sleep specialist.
Okay.
But yeah, I would eat food. That's the one thing. Like depression didn't affect my appetite at all. Like I would still eat so much. It's like,
You're like,
I want to die, but I'm gonna give this life-sustaining food in my mouth. You know, like I wasn't drinking too much. Yeah, I would just be in bed all day, doing nothing. I might watch some Netflix, but I guess there was even a point where like I didn't want to watch Netflix, and I had to I had a therapist tell me to play soothing music, so I would just be crying so much, and I like had to calm myself down. And then I would try to play like classical music, and it's all so cheesy. And it's like I've seen this on a Toyota commercial, and this isn't calming me down. Now I'm thinking about capitalism. I'm getting up sadder. So I think I listened to like synthwave music or something that was like to calm myself down and to try to like just go to sleep so that I could stop crying. Mm-hmm. The worst thing was when I would like cry in my sleep. That was like I couldn't stop crying, so like while I was asleep. And then when I had to go to work, that was terrible. Just getting out of the house would take a long. I was late a lot just because couldn't stop crying to go to work. Finally sucked it up and just distract myself. But when I was kind of working in customer service, and when you have to, look at someone in the face.
You were working customer service in the deepest throes of depression?
In a store, yeah. So like,
oh, I am so sorry.
And I could put on the fake face for people, but it was exhausting. And like, even only like halfway done, like kind of half smile. Like you can definitely see there's something going on underneath, but I'm trying. And but then someone would come into the store who like I knew, like who was a friend of the store, so I wouldn't put on the face. I'd just be like, "Hey, what's up?" And they would give me shit for it and be like, geez, smile. Why don't you? And I like this one guy, I was like, he told me to smile, and I was like, I can't. I'm severely depressed right now. And he told me to go running, and I wanted to kick him in the nuts. Like, I wish I could run. I want to go to the gym. Like, my body is shit, and that makes me feel worse. Like, I can't. Like,
it's like for what I am in my whatever it's called, because I am not diagnosed with anything, so I'm not going to call myself depressed. But I mean, maybe. But I get paralyzed feelings. Sometimes of indecision, and just sometimes of just like I can't really move.
Yeah,
I'm like too sad to move.
Yeah, like I couldn't. Like when I got out of bed, I couldn't. Leaving the house was hard. Like, how could I put on clothes and go to the gym and like move? Like, getting up the subway stairs was hard.
And like before, I mean, I'm asking mostly before you met the ex-boyfriend, but like what was dating like during that period? Did you date? Did you fuck her? I know you fucked my roommate.
I didn't fuck your roommate.
You didn't fuck my roommate?
Which one?
Didn't you go out with like
I matched with them both on Tinder. And then I met one in the real world, and then later realized we had been talking on Tinder. And then the other one, we went out on a date, but like the whole time we kind of realized like we're bros, and we never had sex.
Was that the bigger one?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a big bro.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize y'all didn't bang.
No, we didn't bang.
Okay.
We sat under a blanket together and watched TV, but no canoodling.
Was that weird to go on a date with the roommate of a guy you had fucked?
No. Just something to talk about.
So did I come up, allow Billy to be a narcissist for a little bit? Did I come up in the conversation?
Yeah, we would laugh about it sometimes.
Okay.
It was a good source of comedy. So you have made people laugh unintentionally.
Wait. What do you mean unintentionally? What are we laughing about me with?
And they're like, hey, remember that time you fucked Billy?
Yeah, it was terrible. What? I don't know.
I mean, I did never come back for seconds.
There was texting involved of maybe, and not for nothing, I also didn't really pull in for seconds either.
Okay.
Gonna get a little defensive here.
I mean, it's not like the commute was too far.
How little did we want to fuck each other again that a block away?
It's too far.
It was like, it's right there.
And that was before I was depressed.
Just, turn the knife in a little bit more. Well, I mean, we had, we fucked after the recording, or did you come back a different time?
No, after the recording.
Okay, yeah. And it's like, how did you feel after that?
I mean, took a good hard look at my life.
Oh, God. Okay. I said, we were saying rock bottom before like it was funny. Now it's feeling real.
I was like, why did I do that? Because not to be mean, but I'm not like, sure. I don't feel like magic or sexual energy between us, really.
Oh, ditto. The only time I felt the sexual magic was when we were sitting naked talking about sex, and then you told me to start jerking off.
Yeah.
That was hot for me, but I feel like moving it into let's fuck almost made it less fun than you telling me to jerk off and watching me. Does that make sense? I enjoyed that aspect of it.
I enjoy being a dom. That's fun.
Oh, do you now?
But also, I love being a sub. I like both sides of it.
Sure.
But
the concept of telling me to do something and then watching me do it was
yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
it was empowering. But I think mostly I did it because I was just naked. I was there.
Naked and there.
I like sex, and it's just why not? I can either do this before I put my clothes on, or I can just put my clothes on. It's I might as well do this thing. It could be fun.
It
was fun. We did it twice.
That's gonna. Did we?
Yeah.
I must have been having a lot of fun.
Yeah. See.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's gonna be my new Bumble bio. Could be fun.
Yeah.
Says
maybe
woman
better than not doing it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Give it a try. You never know. Like the lottery guy who's like, hey, you never know.
You might win.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then there was still no reconnection. And again, I think it was it's odd for me because I usually don't fuck people until I've felt the spark. I usually don't do the it could be fun. I usually like to do, let's have a fool around time. Mm-hmm. And then if after we fooled around, that was great. Next time, let's bang.
Yeah, and have some tension building up and some longing.
Yeah, some longing, some tension, but also I've gone to test around Are we into each other? Do we know how to make each other feel good? I usually don't just let's go barrel in and do the sex thing. So that day was a little out of character for me, other than that it was kind of part of almost a scene of we did this podcast. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of the scene for me.
Yeah. But, it's probably more me then, because I just I barrel into it. I'm just let's do it. Go straight to business. I don't want to waste any time. I mean, I'll do foreplay and stuff, but not always. Because normally when guys try to eat me out and stuff, it just doesn't do it for me.
I remember I didn't go down on you.
Yeah.
Did you just ask me to fuck? Was that how that went down?
I didn't. I don't think words were used.
Well, I think words were definitely used to go from me jerking off in front of you to fucking. Because otherwise I would have just happily been this center of attention showman.
Oh,
no.
Hugh
Jackman, but with jerking it.
Yeah, I wouldn't let that happen. I would have gotten bored.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being a dom doesn't get me off that much where I would the whole time be yes, he's doing this because I'm telling him to. I'd be I need to get in on this.
Yeah, someone get it in me.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. How'd you feel when you left left my place?
Neutral.
Yeah,
it didn't really faze me.
You're a very neutral
I was hey,
gal.
I did that. I was more happy that I was entertaining or felt like I was talked enough and wasn't a complete bore for the recording. The
Definitely
sex
not
part
a bore.
didn't really didn't faze me.
Now, do you treat? See, I hold this weird, arbitrary, lofty concept, idea of penis and vagina sex for myself, where I don't like to fuck everybody. I'll go down on most people. Mm-hmm. It's just a fun, polite thing to do.
Yeah.
Oh, did you make me dinner? Or you let me crash on your couch? Can I eat your pussy? To say thank you?
Yeah.
Because I don't have any money. I can't go buy you a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
But I don't fuck everybody. And so I normally wouldn't want to I wouldn't want to leave a sex time feeling neutral. But for you, do you not really care much about who? Like, do you not hold, I guess, an importance to fucking someone?
I do now that I've been with my ex and I have higher standards now.
Okay.
But
just yeah, don't worry. Everyone's laughing with you. It's okay.
Yeah, it's just I actually am more likely to have sex than to suck a guy's dick. Just that's, I don't know. Did you really deserve that? Like when I have sex, at least I'm getting something out of it. I'm usually getting off, but it's so much work, and I don't know if the guy's worth it yet.
Well, so are you back in the dating world now?
Yeah.
Not sucking dudes and making them work for it?
Yeah. No, I've been sucking some dudes. They've been worth it.
Oh, you sucked a few dudes. Good for you.
Yeah. I've been pretty lucky. I mean, with the dates I've been on, they've all been pretty good guys, and we've gotten along. I went on one date. There was no chemistry. Was not attracted to him, but I luckily cut it off after an hour. I was like, bye, see ya. Because there's been times before where I felt so bad that I let it go on for 4 hours, and then he thinks it went really great because we talked for so long, but I just didn't have the heart.
And also, you're like, now I wasted time.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, it's been good.
Watched 3 episodes of House of Cards, but I stayed 3 extra hours with you.
3 episodes of Star Trek Next Generation.
Barf. Do you bring up the depression within the dating sphere now?
Well, so that's sometimes. It really depends on the feeling I get from the guy. So there was one time before I broke up with my boyfriend where I cheated on him.
Okay.
And it was with this guy. I mean, obviously I didn't plan it, and it was just kissing, not penetrative cheating. Okay. And it was mostly emotional cheating because I was visiting the town I went to college in and was with my college friends, but I always run off on my own when I get drunk. Okay. And went to one of my favorite dive bars and just talked to the guy next to me. And I started telling him, I'm about to start this big therapy. I've been terribly depressed. And I didn't care because it's a stranger. And he actually had a really relevant point of view on it because his dad had killed himself 3 years ago. And so...
Always a panty dropper.
Yeah.
Great line.
Yeah, I'm like, wow. It's got my eyes so wet.
Yeah, the bathroom is quite large, sir. You want to take your orphan self over and fuck me?
Yeah. So I just felt really connected to this guy because my ex didn't understand my depression. And this guy did, and he actually said to me, I'm not happy my dad killed himself, but I'm happy he's not in pain anymore. And no one had ever said that to me, and it really, didn't make me feel good, but it felt like someone understood. So I kissed him and we spent the whole night talking and kissing, and I told my ex, and that was kind of when our relationship was over, but we hadn't broken up yet. Sure.
Because then you were about to go on to the the retreat or to
go back to Texas, and but since then, I've been back. I met one guy just at a bar, and again, it was a stranger, and I told him, and he's acted like he understood, but he's I wouldn't tell people about that right away. That's kind of, he's that's something I would do when I was younger, but now that I'm older, I would never do that. You shouldn't be so open with people you just met. And I'm like, yeah, I just met you and I really don't care what you think. And then
tell me you walked out after that.
No, I let him hang around. He was buying me drinks. So we didn't go on an actual date. We were going to. That he just came on too strong for me.
See, it's why would you give dating advice to someone you're on a date with, on a first date with, if you want to see them again? Because
we weren't even on a date. We had just I'd be hanging out at a bar waiting for a friend and talking to this guy. Gotcha. And it turned into an impromptu date because you never have that happen. You just meet someone.
You start talking, you feel the chemistry, and you're like, oh, we should do this in a longer format. Yeah.
Then the next guy I went on a date with after that, I told him, and he totally understood and had anxiety problems and had been in a hospital before, and I was glad I told him. And then there's a few guys I haven't told yet, or I've hinted at, I've told them I went home to Texas over the summer and didn't say why. Yeah. If they I've been saying
it's what'd you do this summer?
Yeah.
I went home.
Yeah, I went to Texas.
It's not a lie.
Yeah. Well, no,
it's true.
If I don't trust them yet, I just tell them I got LASIK surgery, which I did. I don't have glasses anymore.
Congrats.
Yeah, I can see. I can cry without my contacts falling out. Mm-hmm. But yeah. So.
But do you feel obligated to tell a dude? I mean, I know you're fresh back in the dating scene, but is that was your thoughts on how your depression will play into your dating life or your sex life?
Yeah, I mean, if it's someone that I want to see like an extended amount of time, like not just, yeah, it's an important part of who I am, so I'm going to mention it. But it's not something I'm going to rush into saying, especially when it's like we're just getting to know each other and it's still kind of formal. You know, I don't want to scare them away too fast, but like I'm eventually going to tell them because it's important. Or if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't matter. They didn't need to know. Or if it's someone I know I'm just like fucking,
Yeah.
you know, what's the point in bringing this bummer into the room when we're just having fun?
Okay.
So.
And are you also like having casual sex? Are you trying to date? Like what's...
I mean, I'm definitely not trying to date to be in a relationship.
Yeah?
I mean, I don't know. I have a couple things up in the air with a couple guys, and it's like,
Sure.
I don't know which are going to go which way and the other way. I'm not really sure, but I'm not really overthinking it because I'm too busy with my own stuff, and I just don't. I'm trying to treat them all with respect.
So for now, like fun, but not trying
Yeah.
to get into another relationship.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And just definitely not get tied down because I was just with someone. I missed being with other people. Like I'm really enjoying being with multiple people.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're back out there. I'm glad you're not letting this keep you down and keep you inside and keep you not getting pounded however you decide to.
Gotta get pounded.
She looked down at the ground and just was like, yeah, dude, sometimes she's like, well, you gotta get pounded. It's like,
It's true.
That's great. Well, I mean, that seems like a more natural place to end, but obviously I can make this all about me.
Yeah.
But I feel like we covered the naked show. I don't know. Any other comments or thoughts about doing that before we depart?
No, I'm good. Nice and neutral.
I'm glad you felt so neutral. But thank you for, sharing with us, and thanks for coming back, and thanks for still being here.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. For me. Thanks for fucking still being above ground for me. That dude you fucked a year and a half ago and it was neutral. No. But Hillary, thanks again. And why don't you go ahead and say goodbye to everybody?
Bye.
And Hillary was talking about how she's an artist, right? You would if you're interested in some of her art, you want to check out what she's making. Maybe you want to buy something or commission her. She's given me permission to say that you can go to hillaryfaber.com. For searching reasons, I can't put it in the show notes. But it is HILLARYFABER.com. She would love for you to go check out her work and, maybe buy something cute. She's got, really nice dog paintings. She's got this really cool painting of a dog I'm really into. Anybody want to buy it for me? I'd love that. Yeah, go check that out. The time is almost upon us, everybody. Los Angeles. Get your tickets for the Man Whore Podcast Live in LA show in Hollywood right now. You got to go to manwhorepod.com/tickets. Go get that today, and don't forget, free parking. One day someone's going to explain why that's so insanely important to say. Did you know we got merch? Yes, I got Man Whore merch. I actually ran out of Stay Slutty buttons, so I just got a new order of them in. I got the Stay Slutty buttons. I've got the Statue of Sexual Liberty buttons. We got the Saving Pagan for Marriage t-shirts. We got Stay Slutty panties. All this available and more at gumroad.com/manwhorepodcast. You'll see a link in the show notes. Don't want some merch but still want to support the show? Want to connect with your fellow fan whores in exclusive sex-positive discussion groups or gain access to bonus episodes? Head on over to patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Become a member today for as little as $1. Again, that's Patreon, patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. I want to thank Hillary again for sharing, for being so open, for being so honest, for being so vulnerable. And again, if any of you are considering harming yourself, please go visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org. Send me your struggles or send me your comments. Send me your questions. Hey, you can always send me your booby pictures. to manwhorepod@gmail.com. Next week, we're bringing back hashtag Rosa is hot. Rosa Escandone is coming back, everybody. You wanted her. You got her. Tune in next week for Rosa. And until then, stay slutty.